Thank you, Regimantas, for great introduction. And now our conference will be interesting in a way that we will have not only presentations, but we will have some discussions on the stage. And now I'd like you all to applaud our special guest, Regimantas Buožius, Chairman of the Board of ACC Distribution. Hello. I know we'll have some couches here to be more comfortable. Would you like to say some words before we start? 25 years ago, I had no idea that we'll be able to assemble here today like this, that the company will be so huge. I'd like to say thank you for being with us for all this time, and I hope we'll have a great evening, we'll have a great conference today, and thank you for being here with us. Warm, simple greeting. Before the conference, I said that no slides, please. I didn't learn to be on the stage during these 25 years. And I want to make the task more difficult to you and ask you, how do you feel today about the fact that you started your business at the same time as Google? Google started 25 years ago as well, officially. Of course, they worked for several years in a garage, but they started 25 years ago as well. How do you feel about it? I feel good. I didn't know these dates, didn't know these facts, but everything was much simpler 25 years ago. You had the idea, you knew what's lacking in the market, you knew the products. You take the idea, you start doing. At that point, in the beginning, ACC Distribution was named Acme Computerių Komponentai. We thought that we will be working with computer components. Later, we had to change it to adapt to what we are doing actually. And it would probably be nice to change our name again in several years to something else, to stay with the market, stay with the way the world is changing. And the world really changed during these 25 years. If you try to recall the beginning, how did the technology change? Everything changed at a huge speed. Never had the technology evolved so fast as it did during the last 10, 20 years. Well, first thing that comes to my head is fax machine. This was the miracle thing back then. Some people even use it today. And the things that changed during these 25 years, the changes even during last 10, 1 year, are all significant. My problem is that I often need an interpreter because when I start talking, my team needs help understanding, and I have a great team that do help. And it's really difficult to follow what changed during these years, so you need to be in the business to be able to stay. Technologies do change our lives, the speed our lives. But what can be expected? What are the trends for the closest future? Because before, it was just science fiction that a fridge could talk to somebody. Now it's a reality. What's next? I firmly believe that all technologies are people-oriented. It's all to make lives easier, longer for us, to help us communicate. seeing what changed during these 20-25 years, we have artificial intelligence, data became valuable, we have Internet of Things today, which was just impossible to think about 25 years ago, and all the technologies are people-related. I firmly believe that most of us sitting here within the next 10 years will be able to the technologies that come to us, the knowledge that come together with technology, with the data, with the processing of data, this will bring huge changes to our lives, and in 20 years we will probably discuss what should we do when we are 80 and fully healthy, and in 2-3 years we will have assistants on our phones that will help us solve such questions as how do I do business, how do I prepare for discussions like this, and it all will be delivered online. How will we live with that? I don't know. I have children, we had COVID, and I have no clue how will they act in the market, how will they choose products, what will they do. We will have to just accept the changes and try to adapt to them. For today, what I and our company considers important, I think the changes will be so fast that not all of us will be able to keep up. Well, talking about society, will society in general be able to adapt? I can say with certainty that no. What will we do then? And we will be reading science fiction about what's happening, and I think that people who come to the market now, those who are growing up with the technology, they will be able to adapt. Dinosaurs like us, those who remember the fax machines, will have more problems adapting. I think there will be technologies aimed at helping us adapting to the new technologies. And if you recall the thing about the frog, you put it in the hot water, you slowly cook it, and it will not jump out. I think sometimes with the comfortable life that technologies bring to us, it's pretty much the same. We move less, we do less, we live more comfortably. And I'm glad that I'm in this industry, and I always know a bit what's ahead of us. You can jump out of your comfort zone, you can go back to it, you can jump out again, and this helps you avoid boiling alive. Now, let's say at least part of society will not be able to keep up with the technology. But business needs to always stay dynamic, active, change fast, adapt fast. What will be the opportunities or threats that technologies bring for businesses? Let's put it like this. Business, at least partially, will have it easier to adapt because you need to be able to keep what you have and to look ahead. And in my opinion, businesses need to hire more young people, those who don't remember fax machines, dial-up modems and such. Another thing, you need to look at your needs, at the artificial intelligence. I think every single company needs to have some experts who are interested in that. They don't need to be IT specialists. They don't need to be experts in their own area, but they need to be interested in a particular technology. They need to try to adapt it everywhere, to implement it everywhere. Second thing is, in our business and in other places, we are already communicating with robots, chatbots everywhere, and I think there will be more and more of them. Next time, Regimantas will stand up and say that we have 200 coworkers and 6,000 robots who are constantly performing their tasks. What's good for business, we are capable of asking the right questions. What's happening? What can we do better? What can we avoid doing? What's not important to us? And new technologies bring prosperity to businesses who are capable of asking the right questions. You constantly need to do that in technologies industry. You need to rethink how you can do it easier, better, cheaper, more sustainable. We live in the era of data. Those who have the information are more successful. And again, talking about business, data is one thing, but hardware exists as well that processes the data. Should these two things be treated equally, as equally important? Well, this is basically a chicken or an egg question. 7 years ago, I think, we tried to review our data. We all think that we have data and we can do a lot of things with that. Turned out we don't really have any useful data. So in my opinion, first thing that every single business needs to do is evaluate their data. Another thing is the whole popularity of ChatGPT and everything. Why is it so prosperous right now, so important? It's because companies like us are behind, companies with fast internet, data centers, companies that enable processing the data. All of that needs a lot of resources and it consumes a lot of energy. We finally have the hardware to process these amounts of data, and on one hand, hardware is important to be able to process, and then data comes and is processed, and it's very important to have more and more hardware, and we will be able to use it for data processing to achieve success. This will obviously be important in more and more industries. Talking about data, right now we are starting to measure it in zettabytes, and it's terrifying to think what will we do in 10 years, what amount of data will we have. Now there's a difficult question for you. How do you see ACC distribution in another quarter of age? You mentioned we will live to 120. What about the company? I think my idea and the feel of our company is that if you want to survive in the business, in what's changing in the world, mind is important, body is important, you need to have a heart. When you understand what are you doing, why are you doing it, and you feel it, that's when you can react to the changes differently. And I believe that in 25 years, ACC Distribution will still have a heart that will be able to care of you, of us, that will be able to adapt to the realities of that day. And as it was mentioned, We will bring the technologies to the people. There's no chance to survive in the world of technologies with mind alone. You need a heart. Great answer. We have another 10 minutes. We are waiting for the questions. And the first question is already here. It's a great question. How do you think, will the AI be able to change the top leaders in the future? Now, are we talking about business or government? I think that in the future, top leaders will change, the understanding of them will change. These will be the people who are able of asking the proper questions, who are able to formulate their goals properly. These will be the people that will be able to provide questions, not answers, because we already have questions, there's more and more of information. You need to be able to ask, can the AI change the questions? I don't think so. I think it's the priority of a human to ask the questions. And if you take a look at the children who are asking seemingly simple questions when they start to talk, they are ask questions that make you think hard, that make you consider the most important things. For example, I can ask you what is breathing, and we can spend 3 hours discussing it. What is a goal? What is success? And asking these questions and answering them will be the most interesting and important part. And what I firmly believe, there will be responsibility. I'm a fan of delivering what you promised, and I think all politicians, their behavior will have to correspond to their promises. Another idea I have about top leaders is, what is a leader? It's a person who is ahead of us, who's leading us. And I think that to be a leader means to be authentic. You don't try to be someone else, you are the way you are. And I'm glad that we at ACC Distribution are the way we are. We can party, we can work, we can travel, we can listen to others. And will AI be authentic? Can it be authentic? I don't think so. Can a leader be authentic? Of course. Right now, for example, your ChatGPT you mentioned is certainly mudding up things in the world, because when you ask a question, you can receive an answer that may even scare you a little bit. Of course, that's probably one of the newest topics. People are asking why it started now. It's because of us, because we now have more data and we have processing power. But I don't think we need to think about it too much. We will be used to it by the next year. Another question, how can a business stay relevant in a changing world of technologies? My personal position here is that, first of all, you need to listen and hear to the needs of others, to be able to answer, to be able to understand. Often it happens that we think we know what others need. Second thing, you need to be curious, you need to ask questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And the third thing is, don't forget your heart. It obviously helps. It helps to understand what's going on and what to do. So three things: listening, second, curiosity, and the third thing is heart. Listening, curiosity, heart. Again, we discussed it already a bit, but I see people are interested. How will technologies change business? Well, I can say that it's too late to ask this question. Technologies are already changing business, are doing it every day, and it's doing more than we can imagine. Things that we are using every day, machines, phones, health, relationships, contacts. Technologies are already changing business, and they are doing it much faster than we can imagine. The things we have on the other room here, if we compare it to what happened, what we had there 3 years ago, the difference is immense. Even though we had COVID, the technologies are changing the business. And for example, if you recall how we interacted with you 20 years ago, I would drive to you, we would sit down, we would plan things, and now we all do all of that online. So a lot of things already changed. Now we have a question about your favorite technologies. I see that it's probably the most difficult question today. Personally, I try to escape from technologies. I like meditation. This helps to be here and now and see what's happening. Second thing, I like technologies that are related to the comfort, quality of life, longevity. I like technologies that encourage thinking. Technologies that encourage thinking, for example, ChatGPT, it encourages you to formulate the question properly. I like technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality. I imagine that these will bring huge changes to our lives, to our business, our communication. And I like the technologies that I don't know yet, that will only be invented in the upcoming years. Great answer, thank you. And we are receiving more and more questions. We have 4 more minutes, so let's try to answer this one. Should we always be eager to incorporate newest technologies? My answer is, well, how do you feel about it? For me, I always welcome new technologies. I try to learn from mistakes of new technologies to see how it can be better. I completely agree, and in our company, we always say that we need to have a highway and 2 sidewalks. Highway is where you are doing your business. And what happens in life, you're driving on the highway, and when on your sidewalk, your sidewalk becomes wider, the place where you are learning, you turn there, you have another highway, and when it needs to happen, you switch there. So what you need to do is to constantly learn and to switch when necessary. So you don't need to wear rose-tinted glasses, you don't need to be enamored with new technologies. You obviously need to incorporate the technology, but you have to listen to how do you feel about it. Listen to your feelings. And I think during the upcoming years, there will be changes to how we do business, how we try to attract clients. these things will change and change significantly, and we need to be ready to adapt. I believe that in next 5 years, 25 years, we'll be able to meet again and talk how we changed again. And now we have another person here very eager to hear about the upcoming 5 years. How will technologies change in the next 5 years, because we probably can't predict what will change in longer time frame. This question about technologies is obviously difficult because, for example, things that were discussed in the universities some time ago, quite recently, these are now completely reality. Things like 3D printing, printing your heart, printing a bridge. These things are already a reality, even though just recently they were not realistic. And I cannot predict how things will change in the upcoming years. The question is, how will we be able to implement the new ideas, new technologies? Last short question. How will ACC distribution change in the upcoming years, in the 5 upcoming years? As far as I know, as the chairman of the board, I think you may be able to answer better how we changed during the previous 5 years. But life changes, but some things remain. And my most important question here is, I want to ask what will remain, what core values will be the ones that will drive our business in the future. I consider this is the most important question. Which core values will drive our business? This is the question, and I think that today we have core values that we wrote to ourselves 25 years ago, and I hope they will stay with us in the next 25 years, because they encourage us to stay on the top. Let's continue, and thank you, Regimantas, for the discussion, and all our presenters, all our guests will receive a token gift today. Thank you.